Welcome to your weekly Mom Escape, a space where you can kick back, relax, and teleport to the world of me time. So grab your favorite drink and come escape with us.
Hey, Mom Squad. Welcome to another episode of MOMscape, your weekly escape. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Marian.
And I'm Tramika. Our girl Nikki is not here with us this week. But listen, y'all, today we're going to be talking about identity beyond motherhood. Before we jump into that title, though, before we jump into that subject, I need to know what y'all drinking today. What do y'all have?
Listen,
Well,
today
go ahead, man. What are you
I'm
drinking?
just trying to stay a little hydrated. So we just got a little bit of water today.
That cup is so cute.
It
Thank
is.
you. My mommy got it for me.
That's cute.
I like
Listen,
that.
I have the same thing. What you drinking,
Mhm.
Tiffany?
I got a little plastic green cup compared to yours.
You just brought the kids' cup. It's okay. Yeah, it be like that
Exactly.
sometimes.
Exactly. Hydration as well today. My son had a basketball game, so I'm hydrating with him post game. So I had something very chill for today.
I love how fancy we are that we're drinking our water out of these coffee mugs. Cause I have the same thing. I have realized my old age, like I'm getting older, and so I'm trying to be pescatarian. So I've been eating like things just without meat, right? And so I have this place called Huey Magoo's, and they have garlic parmesan chicken that I really, really love. And so since I'm not eating the chicken, I put it on the French fries, like the sauce. And oh my God, I woke up. I felt like my feet was a little bit swollen. My mouth was so dry because it's really
Yep.
salty, but it's good. And so I realized my older age. So I am drinking water today
Uh,
because I need to, get that in.
So
Yes.
hold on, what sauce is that? I tried the Humi Goose for the first time the other day. The chicken I thought was
Really?
good. Yeah, that was the first time I've tried it. But they were
I
supposed to
love
give us
it.
the special sauce, and they forgot to give it to us. So I didn't even know about the garlic
Um,
parmesan. I'm gonna have to try it next time.
So they have like regular breaded chicken where it's just like plain, and then they have like the sauce chicken. And so they have garlic
Oh,
parmesan, they have lemon pepper, and then they have buffalo. I've tried buffalo and lemon pepper, and when I ate a little bit of chicken, don't tell nobody. I didn't really care for those. The lemon pepper is really, really salty. The garlic parmesan is salty too, but one of the things I love about the garlic parmesan is they actually put real cheese on it. So it's I love it.
okay,
It's good. You
okay.
gotta try it.
All right, I'm gonna
I don't
try
know if
that.
y'all they have that where you are, Mary.
I don't know what y'all talking about.
Well, y'all in the Atlanta area, check it out. Huey
Yes.
Magoo's.
Yes, absolutely.
Y'all gonna have to
Okay,
take me
y'all.
next time I'm down there.
There you go. There you
Yes, we will take you. I love it. And it's better than I'm just gonna put that out there. It's like better than Zaxby's and stuff.
go.
So
Oh, okay.
yeah, I like it better for sure. And it's reasonable. The price is like I think
It
one
was.
time we ate there as a family for like 30 something dollars. So it was pretty reasonable.
Yeah, that's what we got. We got the family pack the time we
Mm-hmm.
went. I wasn't a fan of the coleslaw. I don't think any of us were a fan of the coleslaw, but the chicken
I
was
like the
good. But I'm gonna have to try it with
coleslaw.
the sauce on it. They just gave us a little cup of barbecue sauce.
Yeah, they in the Magoo sauce is what you're talking about. You talking about the special sauce,
Yeah, that's
and
the one
they
I
do
wanted to
often
try.
forget to put it in the bag. So I look before I get out of drive through.
Okay. They probably, you know what it may be? They maybe probably forgot to actually make it, and they just say, "Well, look, let's just not put it in because nobody made enough of it and keep it moving."
Yes. So y'all, let's jump into this topic. So what are y'all thinking? What's your thoughts on identity beyond motherhood?
Hmm.
Right.
Deep, right?
Yeah. I think the first thing that just came to my mind right now is that it's a fight. I feel like
Mm.
it's a struggle and it's a fight to have to hold on to. I know when I talk to um I was gonna say young moms, but newer moms, that's a conversation I make sure I have every time.
Mhm.
One of my friends just had a baby. He just turned 4 months. Um
Aw.
but yeah, like when she was pregnant, I was like, listen, don't get
Mhm.
caught up in the hype. And you see it, especially when you're dealing with older generations,
Mhm.
when older people are a part of your village, which we appreciate their wisdom, of course, but that's something that needs to be broken. That's something that we need to break away from.
What do
Is
you mean,
that
Marion, when you mean by broken, or what the
is the
order is?
idea that all you are is a mother now, and that
Mm,
you yourself is not important. Like, yes, you put the child's needs first, especially a little baby that can't fend for himself and all that. Yes, but I know me personally, I reached my breaking point, like mentally. Like, my first
Yeah.
time going
mm,
to a therapist was because I tried to follow the tropes of my family, that because
mm.
as I was a single mom, so that what I wanted and needed was not important. Um,
Well, in their defense, though, let me say this. So, in the defense of like our elders, I
mhm.
will say that self care wasn't a thing. Like, it was, I don't
Wow.
even know who brought it to the scene. Whoever
That's
did
true.
Lord, that it had to
Millennials.
be a
Thank
female,
you.
it was a woman. It had to be a woman. Thank you, girl, whoever
Yep.
you are. Okay. But self care wasn't even really a thing. And so, I don't,
Exactly.
and they did with their generation,
Yes.
what it taught them as well. So, I will say that in their defense, but I do
Yes.
agree with your what you're saying for sure.
Yeah. So is that, and I get that and I honor that, but it's we have to realize, because they're not well, a lot of them. Some of them understand it. Me and my mom had this conversation all the time.
Mhm.
Because she'll criticize some things that I do now for myself. And I'm like, I'm not doing what you did. What you did, I
Yeah,
appreciate you, but that wasn't good.
Right.
it wasn't
Mhm.
healthy,
It
right?
was
Yeah.
not healthy. And
Mhm.
I'm like, and I'm not following that. I'm not gonna do
Yeah.
it. So
And don't you find it difficult though to kind of combat that? Like I find it difficult because sometimes the older generation, our elders will kind of see it as disrespect. And like, well, how dare you not do what I did for you? It worked.
Right.
Like you're a good person. And
yeah,
so I
but where
think
are
that
you?
that's
Mhm.
true. That's true. That's
And that's
true.
what I have to put it back on my mom. It was just like, that wasn't good for you. Yeah, it was good for
Yeah.
us. Thank you. It was not good for you.
Yeah. And as more people are talking though out on it, like you said with the self-care though, it's becoming more normalized, right? It's like
Mhm.
now, like, hold on, we as moms need to talk about, taking that extra time for yourself. And it's kind of like what's passed down, but now you're looking at your peers at the same time. But what do you do? What do you do? Oh, okay, I got you, I got you. And
But
trying
let me
to
say
do
this
that.
though, like working with moms though, I feel like it's normalized to talk about it, but moms still don't put it into action.
And that's
It's
me. I'll be the
hard.
first to admit it. I'll do it, but you know what it is? It's consistency of it. I'll
Yes.
be able
Yes.
to keep it up, do something for myself, and I'll be all excited, call your girl, this is what I did today. Da, da, da. And then you find yourself, for myself personally, 2 weeks later, I'm back into the same old habit. And it's just like I'm
Yes.
looking, crazy, and my
Mhm.
nails are looking a mess. And it's like I'll only make an effort if I'm doing or going somewhere. So that's a big deal too. Yeah, it's just that consistency part.
Mhm.
How do
Yes.
you stay consistent with it?
Mhm.
Like
So
putting it into action because I think it's cute to talk about it. I think it's cute to read the books about it, listen to podcasts about it, right? But if we're not actively putting it in, like creating a plan, I'm a planner. So if we're not actively creating a plan to like actually do the thing, then it's just talk and it's really not helping us. One of the things that I talk about when I'm like teaching moms to plan out their year is you don't have to have like, okay, on the second weekend every month, because that's probably not gonna work, right? But what I do is in my planner, I'll put every other month, I put girls' night in the front of before the month actually starts. And so I know
yeah,
that during that month, I don't care when it is, I need to plan like a girls' night. And that's just an example. Like
that's
one of the
true.
things I love to do for self-care is I love hanging out with my friends. So that's just one
And
of
you
the
know
things that
what,
I
too?
do.
That's a good point, Shamika, because that also helps with like kind of helping to redefine, your
Yes.
identity. Because as you getting caught up into everyday life, being able to reconnect with your girls, whether it's in person, virtual, whatever the case is, kind of allows you to kind of bring yourself back. Like
Mhm.
one of my best friends, she fusses at me sometimes. She's like, Tip, you need a da 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 da. And I'm like, oh man, you're right. And I'll just be all like, She's like, no, that's not you though. That's
Yeah.
not you before kids, but she does it in a respectful manner. And it's like, because that's my girl. So, it's like she's
Mhm.
checking me. It's really like a check,
So
like,
accountability.
exactly,
Yeah, that's good.
exactly. And that's
Yeah.
what you need too, is that accountability, someone to check you, like, hey, honey, let's try to bring it back a little bit, and you're
Mm-hmm.
more than just these children's mother. And that's the hard part. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
these
So
are
that's a good point. I want to ask y'all. So at what point, right? Tiffany, you have how many kids?
three.
Marian,
Is that the one?
just the one, and I got three, right? So
Mhm.
at what point, whether it was first, second, or third with me and you, Tiffany, or at a certain age with your one Marian, at what point did you feel like, or did you even feel like motherhood was kind of overshadowing who you were as an individual?
Mm.
Multiple times.
Not what was the first time? Like, what was the first time you really recognized it? Not maybe you had done anything about it, but the first time you kind of like recognized it.
Well, that's what I was saying. The first time I ever went to therapy was because I tried to live the life that, and to be honest, like, I'll give my family a break. It's nobody said it to me. It's just I watched
Yeah.
the conversation centered around other single moms in my family, the expectations around other single moms in my family. So when I became a single mother, when I got pregnant and had my child, even though I was in a cohabitative relationship, I still saw myself as a single mom, and I still felt like I needed to uphold those expectations. I don't want to say values, expectations. And that is what drove me to somebody's couch, which nothing's wrong. I am
Yeah.
pro therapy and all the things.
Absolutely.
But it literally drove me crazy. Therapy doesn't
Yeah.
mean that you're crazy, but it drove me to needing to talk to somebody because I like completely lost myself. Like, and
Mhm.
Right.
I was 21, and up until then, even though I'm very like pro family and sacrificing for family and doing all the things, um, I had never done it to where I just didn't exist anymore. And
Mm.
so, yeah. So that was the first time.
I think for me, it was probably somewhere in Kid 2. I don't really know where it happened or to identify it. I just know because after Kid 1, you're still able to do your thing, right? You're
Yeah, kind of
Kid
move
1, you're kind of
around. Yeah.
able to manage it here or there, depending on your
Hmm.
situation, right? And I think for me, it was Kid 2 at some point, and it was just like, what am I doing something for myself? Because
Hmm.
my focus was the kids. And for me, though, I didn't see it as a problem. I was like, well, these are the kids. They're young. I
Hmm.
have to take care of them. I have to tend to them. If there is free time, it's something I'm doing with the kids, whether I'm entertaining them, feeding them, whatever the case is. But then at one point, it was no. I know kind of know where it was. As I'm reflecting, it was more of
Yeah.
where I'm seeing, someone else being able to take time out for themselves and do things, and I'm getting upset. I'm like, well, what are you doing? Like, there's these kids, and it's like,
You
well,
got a
what
nanny
you do?
girl.
Exactly, and it's like, what you doing? And I'm just like, shit, like, what am I doing? It kind of is a light bulb, but the issue, like I said, with me is it's not consistently changing. It's like, okay, I
Hmm.
need to do something, I need to, but when? When? Because I still got to tend to the kids. I still, I have to do something. And it didn't really, I don't think I really became hard at it until we moved down here to Georgia. So y'all know I moved from Maryland to Georgia. And it was just
Hmm.
kind of like, I need to do something for myself. I have to get myself back of who I was before on so many different levels, though, not just, personal, like professional, just everything, But I think that's where it was for me. It was somewhere within around that Kid 2 era. What about you?
That's interesting. Mine was around kid too as well. I think that for me, when I first recognized it, I was just so caught up in trying to please everyone. Like
So
so
Marion,
I always talk about how we had our experiences so young. Like we got married young, 20 and 21. My husband was in ministry. And so like I have no idea what that looks like. I didn't grow up in church, but now I'm a minister's wife. And then we got these kids. And at first with kid one, it was just survival mode, right? And so because we were so young, 19. And so survival mode for me. So I didn't really think about it. It was just like I gotta make ends meet. Like that's all I thought about. So around kid two, when I'm married and things start the dust starts to settle a little bit, And I'm like, okay, I'm showing up to be what the church needs me to be. I'm showing up with what I think a wife should be. I'm showing up for these kids. But then I started to see stuff like, oh, but I used to want to be a model. Like, what does that look like now in my life?
Yeah.
Or I was like subtly going into event planning. I love, love, love event planning. And I'm like, oh, what would this look like if I did this like full time? So it was like subtle things that came in that I was just like, girl, you losing yourself. Like,
Yeah.
what is going on? And so that's when, right around kid 2 is when things started to overshadow. And as I came out of that and started to like, okay, like pique the interest and, oh, I should try to be a model over here and try to do little things. It was such a battle. It was so challenging to try to figure out how to show up for everyone else, but then show up for myself as well. And so I left like this much for me, which was not enough to sustain me, not enough to get me from day to day. And it came to the point where I became overwhelmed, like you mentioned, Marian. I didn't even think about therapy. Nobody was talking about therapy back then. So I didn't have an opportunity to go to therapy right away. But I just I started to diminish as an individual.
And you know what? That's such a big word when you say that, saying diminish as an individual. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's big when you say it that way, but that's literally what's happening.
Yeah.
It's what's happening. But you're doing it for a good cause, right? It's for a good cause. But you're diminishing as an individual. And it's how the hell do you get that back?
Yeah. And then a lot of moms that I talk to, they'll say things like, well, I'm, in this season, right? Because I do feel like there are seasons where we just are going to attend to the kids and our families, and that's it, and that's fine. But I think there just needs to be a little room. There has to be a certain amount of capacity to still do the things you love and to just show up for you. And that looks different for everyone. And so I just want to be clear, even with everybody that's viewing and listening, we're not saying like don't show up for the kids or like, man, the heck with them kids, I'm just gonna do me today, right? We're not saying that. But at the same time, there has to be a certain level of capacity to make sure you show up, because what happens, I see so many moms or women later on in their life, the kids grow up, they have their own life and they mad because their kids in relationships and they ain't giving them no time. Like, they have to live their life too, or the kids traveling or just not thinking about them, right? And so I decided to make the change, and I want to ask y'all too, when did you decide to make the change? I decided to make the change. I'm like, I'm not gonna be this old lady living in the house with cats. I'm not saying nothing's wrong with that. And my kids out enjoying their life, and my husband has his life, and he's still in ministry, and the church went on without me. But I'm just here trying to figure it all out, putting together all these broken pieces. Like, I'm not gonna do that. So one of the visualizations that I use when I'm talking to moms is that most times when you can imagine yourself being in a hospital bed giving birth, or whether you did it at home, I know a lot of people doing it at home in swimming pools and all that type of stuff, right? But one of the things I actually ask them to visualize is, most times as moms, we put our dreams and our desires like on the side of the bed. And when we leave the hospital with the baby, we don't take them with us. Or when we leave in that swimming pool to go in another room where we're going to nurse and take care of the baby, we leave the dreams in the other room. And so at what point are you going to go back and pick them up? And so I want to ask y'all that, like, at what point did you, decide that, look, enough is enough. I got to make sure that I'm still doing me.
I know one thing, my husband actually says it to me. He's like, them kids going to eventually move out. And he'll say it just like that. I'm like, I know, but so it's it's so funny because I would probably be that mom, like, look, let me go on the trip with y'all. I already know, like, ooh, when the next you gonna invite me? I'll probably go on the girls' trip with my kid. I know I know that I would probably be that way. But then, she'll say it and he'll just look at me and walk away. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll worry about that time when we get there. But I probably need to worry about it now. Like, look, Marian, like, look, Tiff, come on.
Yeah, because what they say, they be like, Mom, you can't go. What if I don't want to go on a girls trip with my mom. What if they say, like, Mom, you can't go? What would you do?
I wouldn't go on a girls trip.
I probably still got my own little separate room.
Oh my goodness.
But listen,
I have to, it is that, like you said, that part, but I know at least, I can go with my current girlfriends, my husband, whatever the case is and such. But Look, I already forgot your question. You made to go to Marian.
Look, Marian, hold on. They gonna show up on a cruise and she gonna be in the stateroom next to them. They gonna be like, what are you doing?
I got my itinerary, y'all. They were like, yo,
That
your
is
mother.
hilarious.
No.
They'll be dodging you on the ship, the big old ship, the whole time trying to dodge you.
But that's funny because my son is lucky he's a boy, so he don't have to worry. Like, I'm not gonna go on the boys trip or whatever. But like, we talk about him going to college. He's like, I'm going far away. I'm like, I'm coming. Like, if I don't have no husband, I have no roots anywhere. My job is remote. Like, I have no roots. I have no roots at this moment. I have no roots. Like, he and I could pick up and go wherever, whenever. So it's like, the thing I keep telling him is that wherever he goes to school, I'm gonna have a Airbnb property.
Oh,
and when I'll just come stay. You know?
Yeah.
So,
but
like,
you know what I find with boys though? What I find with boys is when they get in relationships with the females is when the moms start to have the issues. So how are you on that? Like, do y'all talk about that or how you feel?
We do. We haven't gotten into the whole dynamic of like me versus her. But like, first of all, I respect the sanctity of marriage. So I don't want to have those issues with my actual daughter-in-law. But before we even get to that,
what's that side mean, Marian?
I don't know. So like, I do want to give him his space to grow, you know, to even get to, you know, marriage and all that stuff. I mean, he's only 13 now, but you know, and I do give him his space and privacy when he's talking to these little girls now. But at the same time, I'm still your mama. I still birthed you. I still went through 14 hours of labor, no meds, with your big old 9-pound, 3-ounce self. Like,
it's a little big baby.
Exactly. So change all your diapers, stayed up late with you. So don't you forget that I'm your mama.
Yeah.
But
but
like, you know, there will be a shift, especially as he gets older. And I just hope he don't pick nobody that, you know, because that's another thing. Like,
she should say, yeah.
You know, well, don't pick nobody that, you know, will have him going down the wrong path, and don't pick nobody that doesn't believe. Like, I hope that he picks somebody that believes in family and honoring, you know, elders and all that stuff as well. Because some of these girls my age, like people in our own generation, I'm like the whole conversation of like, you know, like the whole whose plate you fixing first, do your mom and your girlfriend sit in the front seat and all that stuff. Like,
let's talk about it. What y'all think?
Okay,
who played?
Well, I think I would see. I haven't been in that situation. I'm not married. And when I was living with my ex, he cooked. So, JR was a baby, so he was nursing and he made my plate.
But, okay, so the married Marian and son is still in the house. Who plate you fixing first?
I'm probably fixing my husband's plate, is what I think.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that and see, that's a whole other.
I know, but it was juicy, so I had to bring it up. Yeah,
because when you have that conversation, our community is the only community that does not honor the spouse.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, like at least sad, like the Asians be like, well, the elders, you know, our parents, and then my spouse. But we the only ones putting our kids above, and I say that as a single mom. So, but I also have a certain thing about dating to make sure that as a single mom that goes into marriage, I can trust my husband to be able to take on the mantle of being first. So that's the other thing. But
I never heard of the front seat thing though.
I've never that's why I was gonna get into that. So when it comes to, you know, they ask like, who's sitting in the front seat, your girlfriend or your mom? And I'm like, first of all, there's a difference between a girlfriend and a wife. There's that. But then the other thing is as I think how it should go, and because I believe in I guess ceremony. I don't know how to explain it. When I've been in that situation as the woman, and his mother is coming, I always offer. Yeah, I believe that it's best to offer but it's also best for her to say, no, baby, go ahead and stay in the front.
Good
But
point.
and I know a lot of people be like, well, I'm gonna go through all of that. She need to just get in the back anyway. I just think that
I like
I
that.
think it should go. And if she doesn't say it, I still honor her enough as the woman that gave me this man, who brought my man into this world. I still honor her enough that I will get in the back if that's what she needs.
Right. Now, I think it just depends on. I've never thought about it that far, so that's one. And then, see, for me, I'm so simple. I'm like, look, depending on what's the size of this back seat. You just well, what kind of vehicle you got. Where am I going to be also most comfortable? So
and I get car seat. I get car sick in the back seat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I believe in. I mean, it's not that bad. I'm not that sensitive. Like, we're going to a grocery store, it ain't that deep, you know. But I also believe my views towards our community and all that stuff. I believe in honoring my elders anyway.
Right. So. Yeah. I can't provide any feedback on that one, Tramika. I wasn't sure. So that was pretty cool hearing that.
Well, the whole front seat thing, I've never heard this being a thing, but I will say, well, my mother-in-law always offer, always, and she's always like, no, you sit up there, because I mean, as a wife, I mean, don't I supposed to be next to my boo? But I get, like, that's his mom, and you're an older person. It's more, even beyond like
even
the whole
car,
positional in the family, it's more space in the front seat. You know what I mean? So stuff like that's always offer. But I can't really use our relationship, because shout out to my mother-in-law, we have a great relationship. She's very respectful when it comes to many things. That's a whole nother episode, but we're gonna do an episode on in-law.
Let me write that in the notes.
Okay. But that's interesting. Never heard of that, but yeah, that's cool. I love what you said too and how you do it, and I think it just all boils down to like a whole respect thing, right?
Yeah,
you know how we're viewing people and stuff. So that's good. I love it.
And I feel like the last little thing, because it is my soapbox and it's probably another episode, but I feel like our generation as millennials started to wane in that respect factor. And I think it started with a good reason, because the whole you got to give respect to get it, but I'm still gonna start with the respect for elders. Now, if they keep blatantly disrespecting me, then it's a whole nother conversation. But I'm not going to start at ground zero with an elder ever. No.
Right.
But then, so I think we started to wane, and then I feel like Gen Z just obliterated it.
Yeah, these kids, like you said, that's a whole nother episode, because they off the chain.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question. Well, actually, I was going to ask you guys, but I don't even know if we fully went back to even what Tramika was. I think we went on a whole other thing, which was all good. When Tramika was saying that, what was the question we had kind of started off with, Tramika? You had said
about overshadowing us as an individual, and then at what point did we realize?
Yeah, and then when did you realize you were going to go back to yourself or something? Yeah, I think you had mentioned something along those lines. And I think for myself, again, like I said, I think it wasn't until we moved down here, and it was like, what opportunities, things that I wanted to do. And like I said, on so many different levels, right? Not just, your self-care part of it, where I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm missing myself. And it was just like, I need to take that time, whether it's even like, I used to, like, when I was, before I had children, I used to be able to just go on a date by myself. I would either go to a movie and lunch. I would sometimes go to a bar by myself. I would just do things just on my own, not necessarily with a girlfriend or whatever the case is, and just enjoy those things, And
that's awesome, because I have not always been able to do that. I actually did one earlier this year where I took myself to the spa, and I will do that. Yeah. And then I went to dinner and all of that, and it was very liberating. But I typically don't do it, so kudos to you for that.
Yes, I wish I could do it more. But it is because sometimes though you need to, like, I enjoy the company of others as well, right? But sometimes though, when you're just by yourself, you can just enjoy yourself, one, and then sometimes depending on your mood. Sometimes I don't want to deal with people. Sometimes I do. You can meet other people, that you may not have met, and chit chat away and everything. I think that, and it was such a subtle thing, right? It was such a subtle thing. And then I think the other part for me was though realizing that maybe some things I just couldn't do or whatever. But even business ventures, it was just like, man, I've thought about this, I've thought about that for a while. And it's just like, just do it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just do it. And the dope thing I will say is, as we all know, we all have, our other businesses as well, is that you can teach your kids though. They see you,
Yeah.
on that grind doing that. And then that's putting something in them. And it's like, well, if I didn't do this, they would have not seen this side of me. They would have not thought of doing this. My daughter is like a jewelry hustler. She's a little aggressive sales girl, but she's getting it, okay? Like at her old neighbor, she was out there on the lawn selling to neighbors her little jewelry she made. And it's just
I
like,
love it.
yeah, like I didn't do this and kept trying to push myself to the side. I would have not been able to show my daughter this other side of entrepreneurship, of her being able to do those type of things and everything. So, and I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was, but it was when we moved down here. I was just like, hey, Tiff, like, come on, let's try to reconnect with yourself and see what
Yeah.
happens.
But I think you bring up a good point about what we show our kids. Because I was just talking to my husband recently, and I was telling him that they're going to do more of what they see than what we tell them. We can say stuff
Mhm.
all day.
Yep.
And so, even your daughter being able to see the entrepreneurial side of you, just you taking care of you, period. We have to
Yeah.
make sure that we're showing our kids those things. Showing our kids that it's okay to go to therapy, like Marian mentioned, showing our kids it's okay to take time for yourself. Sometimes you do need to be by yourself and you don't need to be with other people, right? Because sometimes we talk about identity outside of motherhood. Sometimes our identity can get wrapped up in others that we're constantly around. So sometimes you do need
Good
to take
point.
that
Good point.
space for yourself. And so I think that beyond it helping us mentally, emotionally, and things like that, we're teaching our kids good habits when we live these things before them as well. So that was a good point you brought up about, showing your daughter.
Yeah.
I think it's funny because you said that you made a decision to get back to yourself when you moved. That's kind of, I think that's when or at least the most recent time that I made the decision. No, it is the time that I made the decision, because before I realized it and I was coping with it and going to therapy and what have you, and trying to make subtle changes, but actually making the decision to make time for myself and have an identity and to pursue those dreams that I might have left on the side of the delivery bed was when I moved here to Cleveland from I'm from a small town in Pennsylvania, but
Maybe it's just like a change of scenery or something.
Yeah, I was thinking that just like a fresh start altogether, right?
yeah, that's exactly what it was the fresh start. And that's the thing, I didn't move here with the thoughts of staying here forever. It was definitely with the thought of like it was a pit stop to where I wanted to settle down, but it was, you know, out of my small town, out of the Pittsburgh area, even though some people was like, well, Cleveland and Pittsburgh are the same. Cleveland is definitely blacker. And it's definitely more open-minded when it comes to like entrepreneurial endeavors and creating and all that stuff. People in Pittsburgh are very close-minded. So yeah, like I had a business that I wanted to grow. I was moving closer to people, classmates and stuff from school, because I went to school out in Ohio, and so I made it um, an intentional thought that I would spend more time, reconnect with people, old schoolmates, and spend more time for myself. My son was getting to an age where he can stay at home by himself.
Ooh, I can't wait for that, y'all. I know
Girl,
y'all
it's
already there, but I
amazing.
can't wait for that.
And I feel like I don't just be out, just to be out, but like I was able to go to dinner. Down, I was like 7 minutes away from the house, and got the Ring cameras and do what you gotta do.
Yes. We took our first international trip last year, I think, because my daughter's 19 now. So we were able to do that for the very first time. But I remember when they first could stay home by themselves. I mean, we was going on dates like 2-3 times a week. They're like, y'all never here. Yeah, we can't go with y'all. Nope, we gotta make up for when we couldn't go when y'all was younger. So yes, I know what that feels like, Marian. I love it.
So my question is, what are we doing? And this is kind of like a, I guess, loaded question, because I don't have a great answer. I'm hoping you guys have better answers than me. But what are we doing to stay intentional Specifically, what are you doing to stay intentional about holding on to your own identity?
Mm. I know I don't have the question. I mean, the answer either. I think that's with all, all us moms is what are you doing to, for me, it's just, again, it's just that consistency part and just trying to remember. Well, you know what's so funny? Here's something funny. Like, I feel like I would want to put up pictures of myself pre-cat, right? Not just the physical, because, of course, I want to look like before I had kids, but who knows if that is ever going to happen unless I get some surgery, okay? But, it just kind of just is just like a reminder, right? Of this is who you were, like just in terms of your just on so many different levels, right? Just, hey, look, this is you before you
Mhm.
had kids. You can still be you in there. And then you just have another component, right? You just, Tiff before kids, Tiff, kids plus Tiff or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think, like, as I'm just talking, even as we're discussing this, it's really like, well, shoot, what am I going to do? Because I've tried to put, because Tramika told us put it in your plan to schedule it. I've done that. Y'all got my planner even right here. I have things written in here, but it's like, oh shoot, I gotta go buy these birthday gifts first. Let me go take care of that before the store
Mhm.
closes.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like for me, I'm going to have to either put, I really enjoy mantras. I would have them because we moved, so my space is still fairly empty. So everybody out there, all y'all mom squad is empty because I don't have any decorations up. But I feel like I'm gonna put mantras up here just to kind of remind myself. Maybe put some pictures of myself before the kids, just to remind myself, like, hey, this is who you are. Like, this is, just remember, this is still who you are. You
Mhm.
can still be part of that, and you can still be a mom on top of that. So maybe
Yeah.
this is my takeaway. So when we get to our takeaways, that's what I'm gonna stretch from now. I'm gonna have my little takeaway ready.
I think that's such a great question, Marian, and I don't think that is one answer fit all, right? And
Yeah.
so, even with me teaching moms, there's going to be bits and pieces that they can walk away with that they can use and kind of transform to their own lives. And so, my answer would be just day to day. Like, you
Mhm.
have to take a day to day because there's going to be some days where you want to be intentional about doing stuff for yourself, and then there's going to be an emergency, but you can't beat yourself up about it because you got tomorrow and then you got the day after that. And so I think just taking things day to day, and I am a planner. So for those moms in the mom squad who are planners as well or enjoy planning, planning it out, like, definitely that's a method that definitely works for me. If you are not a planner, then I think going back to what we talked about in the beginning, I think Tiffany mentioned it, having that accountability, like having the sister friend, mama friend, or whoever who's gonna be like, look, sis, you looking a little stressed out over there,
Yeah.
and I don't want you to
Yeah.
get to B, because when you get to B, then C happens, right? And so
Mm.
right at about A, between A and B, I need you to do something for yourself. So do we need to get together, or do I need to actually book you a room and then you can go because I know you're busy? Like, having those good
That's a good
friends
one.
and
That's a good
circles
one.
around us, I think is super, super important. So those are the two that I believe in. One of the other things I wanted to mention is I love how you said putting up pictures of yourself, because have y'all noticed like all the little avatar things that's going around on social media? Like, you go to the app and then check. And so I thought mine was so dope. And
Yeah.
so what I am gonna do when I actually eventually move and get my new office, I'm gonna put them up like behind me, so you won't see this stuff anymore.
Ah,
I'm
okay.
gonna post them all, and I'm gonna use all those color palettes to like deck out my office. Because normally I do my office like in my brand colors, like this pink.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna deck out my office in all these vibrant colors because I want Tramika to remember
I
that she's
like
dope.
that.
I want Tramika to remember that she always needs to be vibrant. And so, yeah,
Yes.
that's my idea that I'm gonna do with all the avatars. So I'm super
Oh.
excited about that.
Oh, you know what, Tramika? I may have to do a version of that too now, because actually mine was
Yes,
animal print,
girl.
so I may have to do a. I like that though. Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Yes. I'm gonna
This,
send
I,
y'all a social media page on IG where she got like all these vibrant colors.
yeah.
And that's kind of like the palette I'm gonna use. I'm gonna send it to y'all.
Okay.
People gonna probably think
I
it's
love the
pink
fact
and
that
pink.
our backgrounds are about to grow.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're
So,
making
like,
it to
y'all can
Tramika's
see,
new
like, this
office.
office is, I'm getting it together, okay?
Yes, work in progress.
Hopefully today I'm gonna be paying my trim, but yeah, it's a lot going on.
It's okay.
So what about for you, Marian, though? Like, what do you do?
So first of all, you hit the head on the nail. Right when you were saying about not beating myself up, that had to be when as I went on this journey. I had to come back and be like, wait a minute. So first, though, we're not going to beat ourselves up because, yeah, it's easy to want that consistency right off the bat, but it's not easy to just. Well, maybe for you, Tramika, because all you gotta do is write it in.
Right.
Not always.
But it's hard to just, go from 0 to 100, so it's implemental. And right now, like, I got a lot of things going on. I'm trying to get like certifications and trying to grow my career and trying to build a business and a teenager who is active and all these things. So if I get through the week and haven't done something for myself, I just watch something on YouTube, something that, inspires or is valuable to me. But I also I spend more money on myself now. And not a crazy amount. I still don't.
That's good.
The last time I
That's
went
a whole topic or episode right there. Okay.
I can't remember the last time I bought myself clothes, like actually and didn't have somewhere to go the next day or the day of.
That's me.
Like just going and getting myself, updating my wardrobe. I haven't done that probably since 2015. No, when was that? Yeah, 2015.
Yeah.
My first big girl job. And so, what was I gonna say? So, but I do I just bought myself a pair of skates. Now I went skating with my son for his birthday, and I haven't been back since.
You gotta learn the moves, Marian. Take a video.
I know.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pencil that in.
Doing all the things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the thing. So that's something I want to do. But so I pulled the trigger, bought my skates, and they rose gold.
I want a picture. I need to see these skates.
You may make me a future man and them rose gold skates.
Right. Out there moving it up on the skate ring too.
So I got that. I have, my next thing I had to work on is exercising. I used to be so good, wanting to be like a gym rat and all that stuff. And I just, after I get everything else done, I just don't have the motivation or the energy for it. But I don't like the body I'm in right now. So and I always if you don't like something about yourself, don't talk about it, change it. And so trying to get back to that, which is a whole other thing. I was in the best shape of my life and the most nutritious spot in my life when I was unemployed. And so it's just trying to marry that. I can't be unemployed right now, but how can I bring some of that back? But just
those are good things though.
Trying to focus on those two, my health and fitness, and obviously my business, even though my business that's another thing you can lose your identity to. Right now,
that's good.
Are where my value it holds my values and the things that speak to me as a person. So trying to make sure I spend time doing that. So
that's good, because I felt like at one point I won't go into it now. We'll have to bring that up on another episode, but that is really good and that's a valid point. You definitely can. Yeah, just losing your identity to anything outside of you being an individual, really. So yeah, that's good. Okay. I think my biggest thing that a takeaway from me, but something I really want to share for those listening and viewing as well, is something, Marian, you mentioned about spending more money on yourself. But just knowing that it doesn't always take money, right? And you can do small things. You mentioned as well, like YouTube, watching a YouTube video. And so I think that sometimes when we say self-care, people immediately equate that to going to therapy when everybody can't afford that. You may be in a place where you can't afford it right now, or they may equate it with going to the spa, getting your nails done. Maybe you don't get your nails done. Maybe you don't have a babysitter to go to the spa and do a full day. And so I think that I want people from this episode that, first of all, you have to do something, right? Have to do something, taking it day by day, and having that circle, that accountability around you. And the last thing is just knowing that small things count.
Yeah.
Is really just thinking about yourself and putting yourself first at some moment in your life. And so the small things count. It doesn't always have to be these lavish things. Yes, we want to go to the girls trip to Vegas. We want to go lay out on the beach in the Bahamas. Yes, that looks good. That sounds great. But if you're not always in a position, and it may not just be a position financially, maybe you don't have the care, maybe you don't have the time, you need to make sure that you're still doing something. And so that's definitely something I want to put out there for our audience to be able to take away today.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that one. I mean, man, Tramika, I don't know. That kind of that's a good one right there.
You said you had something though.
I did, but then I forgot. You know, you go and you're thinking, and then by the time it gets there,
You gotta write it.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
right.
have to next time. I'm gonna have to put on my little sticky note of the takeaway. I mean, I just think that, like you said, with everyone, for myself personally, and with everyone listening, is figuring out what that is for you. As Tramika just said, figuring that out what it is for you. And I think the biggest thing is the consistency. Figuring out how to be
Yes.
consistent. We clearly have not figured that out as well. So even if y'all have tips of what y'all do, like we said, if you're on YouTube, drop in the chat, send us an email, whatever the case is, and we can kind of share that out and support each other on how to
Absolutely.
do it consistency. And I think again, as we mentioned, your accountability partner, I think that's big for me. Find someone who will be real with you and check
Yes.
you.
Yeah, that's a big thing right there. Being real with you. For sure.
Exactly. It has to be someone who's going to be wrong. Don't choose your friend that's going to make you feel good all the time. You need to choose your friend that's going to make you feel like a hot mess and tell you about yourself and everything, and have that person be your check-in account, whatever you want to call it, and to help get there, to keep your identity outside of motherhood as well. So that's my little takeaway.
Love
Marian,
it.
what about you?
Mine is, again, don't beat yourself up, for sure. When if you get through the week, or it's been 2 weeks and you look back like, dang, I haven't done nothing for myself, don't beat yourself up. It's okay to keep starting this journey over and over and over again, but also try to make it. I'm challenging people.
Yes, I love challenges.
Make it a non-negotiable. Like, a story real quick. I have some friends that are old enough to be my mama, and then people are quick, oh, that's great, you have mentors. No, these are not my mentors. These are my friends. And I always want to, obviously they have wisdom, and I do learn from them, but I always want to like have that differentiation like that. I feel like with a mentor, there's still like a line
of a professionalism or something.
Yes, and no, these are my true friends. And so I do have a friend who might be navigating having to take care of a sick family member. They're going through the testing and all that now. And I'm like, we have already had these conversations where we're establishing that therapy is needed, even before the whole sick family member. Therapy is needed. And so I'm like, I'm challenging you and I'm challenging myself. Well, I'm joining you in a challenge. We need to start our therapy by the end of, because I need a new therapist, by the end of January. They're like, okay. They're like, well, but if this comes back and we find out that this person is sick, and then that's going to be all these things is going to have to happen. And so I got to figure that out first. And I'm like, no, you have to prioritize, put your mask on first. And so I said, whatever the appointments and whatever else is going to be needed for that, it could be scheduled for around 1 hour every other week, that you have to put that first. So we have to have, even when it just seems like, but I can't, but this is so much more important. No, put your mask on first. You have to prioritize. You have to make it a non-negotiable that I am going to take a bath. I am going to go to therapy. I am going to take myself out to lunch at this interval, monthly, weekly, quarterly, whatever it is. I'm going to do it. It's non-negotiable, and that's it. Because you have to make time for yourself. You will lose yourself. You will drive yourself nuts if you don't.
I hear that.
So
yeah, I love how you say put your own mask on first. That's good. Absolutely.
All right,
sounds good.
So is that it? That's our takeaways.
Yeah.
All right. So, mamas, mom squad, we gotta figure out what we calling our audience. Um, I'm gonna call y'all the Mom Squad today.
Yeah.
We thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. We hope that you have some your own takeaways and that you are able to assess your own identity beyond motherhood. If you are watching us on YouTube, don't forget to click the like button. Don't forget to leave us a little comment. Let's dialogue. Let's have a whole
Yes.
community. You know. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, okay? Let's get the subscribers up so that more moms can join in the conversation. More moms can find us so that we can build a community and join in the conversation. If you're listening on your favorite podcast app, don't forget to like it. Don't forget to rate our podcast. And don't forget to subscribe so you know when we come back on here next time. Um,
Yeah.
I think that's it. So see
That's
y'all all
it.
next time. And
Yes. Y'all have a good week.
have a
Bye.
good one.
Bye.